Real estate investment strategist and professor at U of L, Patrick Nessenthaler, works to inspire and educate professionals and students about the commercial real estate industry. He joins us today to talk about the current state of commercial real estate. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm curious, how has the current economic environment of the past several years affected the state of commercial real estate?
Well, it's challenging, right? There's a lot of challenging issues that are impacting the commercial real estate market currently. We had a lot of cheap capital that entered the system during a period called ZIRP, which is zero interest rate policy. And that really happened between the period of March 2020 through March 2022. And then in 2023, that's when, 2022, 2023, that's when the Federal Reserve started hiking rates. And we've been in this situation where the Federal Reserve has just been kind of dictating policy on a month-to-month basis. So obviously they're tracking CPI, they're tracking jobs in the labor market. But everybody's just kind of waiting for the Fed to cut interest rates. And, you know, I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think the market's priced in one rate cut. But hopefully we start seeing some rate cuts in 2025 to provide some relief to the commercial real estate market. And then from a secular trend, we're obviously seeing work from home, remote work, that's starting to last. So the fundamental demand for office space is starting to shift lower to a new equilibrium. So obviously we're seeing a lot of bankruptcies, a lot of distress that's happening in the office market. And I anticipate that's going to happen here for the next couple of years.
How do you see the next 12 to 24 months playing out nationally and then locally?
Nationally, I think we're going to start seeing some distress. You know, the Federal Reserve offered up the bank term loan funding program, which gave some liquidity to all these regional banks. That ended in March of 2024. We do have some relationships that have contracts with the FDIC. We'll keep some of those names on the hush, but the FDIC is kind of getting prepared for this deluge of distress that's going to start impacting these regional banks. And we'll expect to see some of that enter the market here in the second half of this year. So we're going to see that nationally. I'd say locally, I think Louisville is a little bit more of a kind of a value add play. Obviously, we're starting to see distress in the office market, but I think we have fantastic leadership in place with Mayor Greenberg, as well as Pat Malloy. I think they're doing some very proactive things to kind of turn around our performance in downtown Louisville. I believe they just announced LEDA, which is the Local Economic Development Alliance. So we're putting in public-private partnerships. We're putting in some intelligent things to kind of reposition Louisville to rebound from this distress. So I think we're in a good spot, Louisville, to rebound. But I'd say the next 12 to 24 months, you know, we have to get through this period of distress. We have to kind of retire all that cheap capital. So I think that we're going to face distress, you know, nationally as well as locally. But I think we're in a good spot to kind of reposition ourselves with great leadership.
You know, with Humana kind of moving a lot of people to that stay-at-home, work-from-home model, to moving out of that big, beautiful building downtown, how does that kind of affect the overall mood of why people want to relocate their office space to downtown?
Well, I think you're starting to see these larger companies get smarter with how they use that employee per square foot, you know, and Humana's obviously consolidating just like other major corporations. And I think we just got to think about how we use this vacant office space, whether we reposition it into hotels, which I believe we're undersupplied in, or, you know, we need to turn into downtown into a place where you can kind of live, work, and play. And I know there's some owner operators locally that are really capitalizing that opportunity. So maybe we not be that 9 to 5 downtown office location. Maybe we create something that's a little bit more vibrant. So I think adaptive reuse is really going to play into how we kind of reposition downtown. So yes, Humana vacating that, there's going to be some losses in rent. There's going to be, you know, increases in vacancy, but that's still good real estate, right? How do we use that and how do we position that better for the future of downtown? And again, with leadership in place, I think we're thinking through those things currently.
All right, Patrick, thank you so much. Where can people connect with you if they have questions or want to continue to follow what you're talking about?
Sure, I'm on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn's the eighth wonder of the world. So just go on LinkedIn, find me at Patrick Nessenthaler. Yeah, I'm also, as you said, I'm a professor at University of Louisville. I'm the lead instructor for our real estate center, which is in process. We want to endow a center for real estate for University of Louisville. We obviously want to be a conduit between the private sector and real estate with the public sector. So find me on U of L as well. And my email address is fpn01@louisville.edu.
All right, Patrick, thank you so much.
You're welcome.